I asked a group of former Californians what they are most surprised about when making the move from California to Texas. Today, I'm going to read you off some of their responses and share with you a pros and cons list based off of their comments and my experience when helping people make the move from the Golden State to the Lone Star State. So let's get right into it and read some of those comments. Disclaimer though, I have never lived in California, but I have helped a lot of people make the move. I've also lived in Texas for over 20 years, and I've lived in 3 different major metroplexes, so I have a good idea of what the different areas of Texas represent and can maybe help give you some guidance for what area you should consider based on what you are hoping to get out of your move to Texas. Okay, now for the good stuff, let's get right into it. Julie says, 34 years in Austin. I came from Orange County, never been sorry. Texas has a feeling, a vibe to it. You'll see. Peter says, Texas really takes care of its veterans. I feel like California has better views and sights to see, especially Sonoma and Napa Valley, and likely more things to do, but the cost of living is definitely more manageable here. So there's some pros and cons. Michelle says, mostly for me, I really just hate the weather and it scares me. We've had 2 very close tornado calls in the last 3 to 4 weeks. We do get some crazy weather, but we'll touch on that later on. Anne says, I moved here 3 years ago. Everyone is very nice. I haven't experienced any negativity towards California or Californians. In fact, I've met so many people who are from California. Summer is hot, but you'll get used to it. I feel like I live in America. I love that one. Someone said, we moved here in November. I have not met one person who wasn't extremely kind and polite even after we told them I'm from California. I'm starting to think that is a myth, at least where I live. The hills, valleys, and oak trees have surprised me and how green it is. My only regret is that we should have done it sooner. Eric said, we moved from Sacramento 10 months ago. Many positive surprises range from how nice the people have been in our city, the patriotism we see, the way people treat each other, whether it be at restaurants, out in stores, etc. Like many, our only regret is that we didn't do it sooner. Okay, some of the not so positive ones said Snowmageddon 2021. That was a bad snowstorm. We'll touch on that. The snakes, bugs, property taxes, and most neighborhoods have HOAs. I love the freedom though. This one says, I'm surprised how much I do not miss California. I love the people here and a bit slower pace of life. All right, this one says, all good, but the humidities and bugs. If you're from NorCal or inland, you'll be fine. I am not yet. This one says, the freaking hot weather. I felt like a shrimp jumping out of a frying pan. It does get hot, but again, we can touch on this later. Okay, now I want to share the pros and cons list. This is based off of some of these comments that I received, some of the feedback that I have gotten from clients that I have helped move, and just some research from the internet and other sources. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with the cons and just be brutally honest so you know what to expect and there are no surprises. The very first one on the list, and a big one overall, is the hot and humid summers. It does often reach over 100 degrees and stays that way for many, many days. I personally love it. I'd rather be hot than cold. I also think you do kind of start to get used to it and you just kind of learn how to manage it. You remote start your car and you cover your leather seats and you bring umbrellas to your kids' outdoor games, things like this. So you do kind of get used to it. I personally love it, but pros and cons. The next one is severe weather risk. We don't get earthquakes really like I think California does, but we do get hailstorms and tornadoes. And this will definitely vary depending on what part of Texas you are in. But again, we just take precaution, park your car in the garage, and pray for the best. Maybe look into a storm shelter or just a safe space when you are purchasing a home. Less progressive infrastructure, public transit is limited in many Texas cities. Very true. I don't think a whole lot of Texas is very walkable. You absolutely need a car, 100%. Some cities lack zoning laws, leading to mixed use neighborhoods. This is something that we do a lot of research on before you purchase a home, so that is not an issue later on down the road. So I've never had an issue with that. But again, this is just some research that I've done. The next point is cultural and political shift. Texas tends to be more conservative socially and politically than California. Some newcomers experience culture shock, though metros like Austin, Dallas, and Houston are more progressive. So this is really going to depend on what you are hoping to get out of Texas. And the next point is higher property taxes. While there's no state income tax in Texas, the property taxes are notably higher, often 2 to 3% of a home's assessed value annually. So again, no state income tax, but we do have property taxes. Again, this is something that we look into before you close on your home so that you know what to expect and can budget accordingly. Next up is bigger bugs and allergies. Everything's bigger in Texas. We do have bugs, but again, just something to plan for and maybe hire pest control. I know I do. And allergies, the allergies are pretty bad. I'm still not used to them. I take like a daily allergy pill, but it really, again, depends on what you're coming from and what you're used to. And the next one says fewer natural disaster free zones. So kind of same thing. We'll get flooding and hurricanes based on depending what part of Texas you're in. Um, Tornadoes, extreme heat, and hail. So those are some of the cons. Okay, next up is the pros list. I could go on and on for this one, but I will keep it short and sweet. Number one is going to be lower cost of living. Housing is far cheaper, and you can get a larger home and more land for a fraction of California prices. I will put a little price comparison right here for you to see for yourself. Next up, which was on the cons list already, is lower property taxes in some areas. Though we lack state income tax, we have higher property taxes overall. Next up is everyday expenses. Things like gas, groceries, and utilities tend to be lower. Growing job market is also on the pros list, especially tech in Austin, energy, healthcare, aerospace, and logistics. Companies like Tesla, Oracle, HP, Charles Schwab, and Microsoft and Amazon have moved to Texas or expanded to Texas. So there are a lot of job opportunities. I will put in a demographic of the Tyler area and what the job market is doing around here. Next up is more space and lower density, larger lots, bigger homes, and less congested areas in many areas compared to Los Angeles, San Francisco, or San Diego. Next up is family friendly suburbs. Plenty of master planned communities with excellent amenities, parks, schools, especially around Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, and San Antonio. Next up is easier car ownership. Texas is built for driving, wide roads, ample parking, shorter commute times, and many suburban areas. People do drive like assholes, though. Just be aware. And last up is diverse natural scenery, from the hill country to lakes and coastal beaches and pine forests. Again, all the different areas of Texas are just so different. That is it for the pros and cons list. I hope that helped. Other than this, I really recommend utilizing different sources to do your research before making the big move. So you look up hashtags on social media or location pins. Utilize Facebook groups where people are brutally honest and ask any of your questions or concerns. And just make sure that you have all of the information before making the big move. Again, I hope that this helped. My name is Kylie, by the way. I'm a realtor in Tyler, Texas. I would love to help you on your move to Texas, whether that is Tyler or anywhere. Feel free to use the Calendly link in my bio to schedule a call, and I would love to help give you some guidance.